everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you've been following along with my short series, you know I've been filling this sketchbook with ton of freehand brush pen drawings. Kinda turned into an ongoing series, something really fun and spontaneous, just some expressive brush pen drawings, no pencil, no planning. I love the raw feel they have. Some of them turn out better than I expected, and that's exactly what inspired this video. I decided to take one of my favorite drawing and turn it into a full gouache pen. For all these ink drawings, I use this Pentel brush pen for almost all of them. It's got a flexible nylon tip, rich black ink, and it's perfect for fast and expressive lines. Here's a quick recap of how this little baby clown came to life. Loose gesture lines, bold shadows, no pencil, just pure ink. Now, I am using acrylic gouache for this, and there's a reason why. Acrylic gouache dries permanently. Unlike traditional gouache, it doesn't revive when you add more water or layers, which makes it perfect for building up solid colors and crisp detail without smudging or reactivate anything underneath. Also, it's great for covering ink lines, especially when the drawing have bold strokes like mine. But before jumping in, I'm doing a little patch test. I want to see how waterproof this brush pen ink actually is. Some inks claim to be waterproof, but once you hit them with water, surprise. So let's test that out real quick. I'm just laying down a patch of ink here, letting it dry for a minute or two. Now I'm going over it with a wet brush. It's okay. It's holding up decently, but I do see a little bit of lifting. So that tells me I need to paint more opaquely over it to avoid any unwanted smudging. Before any paint hits the real piece, I always give myself 5 or 6 minutes for a quick thumbnail study. It's basically a mini painting, small, messy, and totally judgment free. It's not pretty, but it's let me test colors, values, and the overall vibe without any pressure. Think of it as stretching before a workout. Alright, thumbnail locked in. It's not pretty, but it's my roadmap, and now I can move on with underpainting and Burnt-sienna, feeling a lot more sure of where I'm headed. I start with underpainting using a light wash of Burnt-sienna. This warms up the whole painting and gives me a mid-tone base to build on top of. It also helps unify the colors later. I let that layer dry completely before moving on. Once that's dry, I begin with the face. I always like starting with big shape block-ins. I lay down the main skin tone area, keeping it simple and flat at first. This character has a clown makeup on his face, which makes it really interesting to paint because instead of usual skin colors, I get to use unusual tones like icy blue, stark white, and soft purple in places I normally wouldn't. Then I slowly start defining the features, the eyes, the nose, little frown in the mouth. Each layer helps bring the expression to life. Next up is the clown cap. It's got a patchwork kind of design with lots of stitching and fabric texture. I try to capture that feeling by layering colors and using dry brush strokes in some areas. Some patches are faded, some look more saturated. I let the paint mimic how real fabric catches light and shadows. I also added little details like seams and flare edges to make this feel more tactile. Now the costume was honestly so fun to paint. It's a big layered ruffled design with bold stripe running across it. I followed the same process here. First block in the base color, then build up shadows and highlight based on how light falls on each fold. Because it's so layered, there's a lot of different temperature happening in some areas. Warm light, cool shadows, soft transition. I let each part dry before layering it in more contrast and detail so nothing gets muddy. Once the big shapes are down, I go back in and add final details. This includes crisp edges around ruffles, tiny folds in fabric, reflections in eyes, and small light catches on the nose and the lip. I also pay attention to color temperature, warm tones in the light and cooler tones in shadows, which helps the whole piece feel more three-dimensional. Layering like this is super easy with acrylic gouache because the previous layer stayed put. here's something I didn't plan from start. I grabbed a few colored pencils at the end to punch in some last minute textures and lines. It was kind of a spontaneous decision, but I'm very glad I went with it. The color pencils help define edges, deepen shadows, and even add subtle texture that would have been hard to get with a brush. I use them mostly in the costume and on the face, places where I wanted to bring back that drawn look. And here's the final piece. From the brush pen sketch in my sketchbook to a full gouache painting. It's so satisfying to see it transform like this. This process made me appreciate how much potential these little drawings have. If you have got ink sketches sitting around, try painting over one. You might be surprised by how much it comes to life. Thank you for watching, and if you like this process, check out the other ink drawings in my short series and let me know in the comment section which one I should paint next. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.